federal government, and they can move you too. For the best moving experience, it's Bendian's Best Moves. Call now, 850-583-0814.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards in Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at instantReplaySportsCards.com.
Krispy Kreme Donuts invites you to bring the cinema home while you're binge watching your go-to Hulu shows and movies. Enjoy the first of its kind in the Hulu and Krispy Kreme collab. It's the new Candy Double Feature Donuts, the Cookie Dough Superstar Donut, the Caramel Popcorn Donut, and the Blue Raspberry Slush Donut. Only at Krispy Kreme Donuts, in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937, where you get them hot.
Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Dublin wines and gourmet products, so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
For a limited time, you can get KFC chicken with the sweet heat of hot honey. And after one bite, you'll wonder, how do bees make hot honey so hot? Are they special bees? Does KFC have dragon bees? Fire-breathing dragon bees that create spicy honey? No, silly. There's no such thing. KFC just partnered with Mike's Hot Honey to drizzle all over their crispy chicken. But dragon bees would be so cool. Try it now for only $7 or share a box with friends for $25. Prices and participation vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Thursday morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, inside the Golf Plus studios here on the Inside Drive. A match that is certainly made in heaven. We appreciate Golf Plus and Alan Watson on jumping on board here with the Inside Drive as we had an opportunity for our studio sponsor open up here in the recent weeks. So just makes perfect sense. Obviously, the Inside Drive, we do talk all sports, but certainly a little golf-centric as well. So you got to go check them out. Two great locations, in one right here in your own backyard, right there at the Edgewater Shopping Plaza next to Firefly, and then, of course, up there in Dothan off at 231. But, if you're looking to get better at your game, obviously I talk about it all the time, how important club fitting is, how important having the right equipment is, and Golf Plus can get you better. They've also got a great selection of new equipment, apparel, all sorts of wonderful things, and, of course, they've got the launch monitors to get you fit right. You got to make sure you got the right tools. If you're a carpenter or an engineer, you're going to certainly make sure you got the right tools to do the job the best you can. And golf is certainly not a sport where that gets passed by. As if you're playing with the wrong equipment and you're trying to get better and you play a lot of golf. Obviously, if you play once a year, buying a $400, $500 driver every year is probably not the best thing to do. But, if you're trying to get better, you've got to have the right lie, the loft, the right shaft flex, all that stuff. And I'm looking forward to Alan Watson joining us in studio here in the coming weeks, as, again, we appreciate him jumping on board with us. It is, don't forget, too, coming up here in about 3 weeks, we'll start the nomination process for Best of Bay. Obviously, we got the Best of Bay radio and TV personality last year. We're trying to make it back-to-back years, and we can only do that with your help. We'll keep you posted on when the nominations is officially out there, and, of course, all the other great local shows here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coach James Sales Show from 7 to 9. Of course, the Inside Drive from 11 to 1, and, of course, the Afternoon Underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. as well, which you can watch and listen to all three of those shows on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All you got to do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. 104.3 is all you got to search up for that one. It'll show up on your first page of search results there, and then you can take us anywhere you go. Lots of great contests inside that mobile app as well. And then, of course, last but not least, multiple things you got to do now when you head over to ESPNPC.com. One of the big things, if you're looking to save some money on streaming services, Lucid Streams TV with code ESPN-NW is only $41.99 a month. Over 2,000 channels on demand, including all your pay-per-view sports events, all your local sports, regional sports, MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL, college football. Literally whatever you want to watch is on Lucid Streams TV. And then, of course, if you want to watch some movies, they've got over 10,000 movies streaming on demand as well. Again, that's Lucid Streams TV. You can find that little TV channel icon at ESPNPC.com. I know everybody's excited. We're getting ever so close to it each day. The SEC continues to eat themselves alive. But when you're on ESPNPC.com, you can also check out ESPN Northwest Florida's Big Bracket Challenge. We appreciate Panama City Toyota, PCB Hobby, and Pepsi for sponsoring this fun contest that could potentially win you some cash and prizes. I believe the top three will be eligible to win some stuff. You just head over to ESPNPC.com, click on that banner. It says ESPN Northwest Florida's Big Bracket Challenge. Just follow the prompts to sign up, and then when the Selection Sunday happens, coming up on March 16th at 5 p.m., which you could listen here right on ESPN Northwest Florida. Once that full bracket is complete, you can go in there and fill out your bracket and have an opportunity to not only compete against your friends, but all of us here at ESPN Northwest Florida as well. Again, appreciate Pepsi, Panama City Toyota, and PCB for sponsoring ESPN Northwest Florida's Big Bracket Challenge. David, how are you doing today?
Doing well, my friend. How about yourself?
Doing good. I see you got the Tampa Bay Lightning hat on. They made a big trade yesterday, a multiplayer trade. It looked like a lot of action going on there with, I forget the other teams.
Seattle Kraken.
And was Nashville involved in it too?
I don't think so.
That's right, the Kraken. Still getting used to the fact that we have a team in the league called the Kraken. We also got the
Let's get it cracking.
That's right. We also got the Utah Hockey Club in there.
I don't think I've watched them play a game all year.
I watched them play against the Devils once.
How are their uniforms looking?
They're okay. Yeah. They're not the Seattle Kraken, that's for sure.
Those are some good-looking uniforms.
No doubt. They are fly, as some people would say. But obviously, it's sticking with hockey. Alexander Ovechkin scored another goal last night. I believe it was an overtime goal to help them win another game. But he is now at 885 goals, and he's just 9 goals short of tying Wayne Gretzky's all-time record of 894 goals. Obviously, we knew this would happen at some point. When he had that broken bone kind of mid-season, we thought it may not happen this year, but since the Four Nations break, the Capitals and Ovechkin have just been on a crazy tear, and he has a 52% chance to score 10 more goals with 20 games left to play. And obviously the Capitals are leading the Eastern Conference as well, with an NHL lead in 88 total points. But congrats to Ovi on scoring another goal yesterday and getting ever so closer to passing Wayne Gretzky's goal record. I personally think, and we've talked about records before, whether they're meant to be broken or not, and I do think these record chases make things exciting and kind of add a little more extra to, maybe giving people more of a reason to tune into games, et cetera, et cetera.
And we're talking about the great one here with Wayne Gretzky and goals that, these are some of those records where you don't think that they're ever going to be broken? Will his point total ever be touched? More than likely not. But it does make the games more exciting. I mean, shoot, you can even go back to baseball at the end of Albert Pujols' career, and he's not even chasing Barry Bonds. It's just, does he get to 700? And that was cause for excitement. Or Aaron Judge when he's trying to chase Roger Maris. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Records are meant to be broken, and the closer that they are to getting broken, it's definitely more, it brings a tunability into to sports that maybe people. I was trying to figure out how to use it.
Tunability. That's my new. It's my new favorite. I guess, would that be a verb or an adjective? Because
I would say that it would be an adverb.
Yeah, because you're describing. Yeah. Tunability. Speaking of more players hitting milestones, last night Giannis also joined a big-time record scoring. He scored his 20,000th point last night, so he's joined the 20,000-point club there in the NBA. And as we just recently had LeBron become the 50,000. Created the 50,000-point club. No doubt about that. All right, I want to dive into some of the big men's college basketball games that transpired last night. Like I said earlier, the SEC just continues to kind of eat itself alive. And Tennessee faced off against Ole Miss. It was in Starkville, or not Starkville. It was in
Oxford.
Thank you very much. And it was close all the way down to the wire. Ziegler did not have a great game point production-wise, but Ole Miss kind of scored late there in the game to win that one 78-76, upsetting number 4 Tennessee. And then, of course, the big one, the team that just, they take down juggernauts on the road, and they're just, Man, I would not want to be playing them any time in the NCAA tournament, and that's the Florida Gators, as they held on to beat Alabama 99-94, despite a huge game by Mark Sears, 30 points, 6 rebounds, but Florida was just too strong and really didn't play super well defensively, but played fantastic in transition, really fast, and kind of pushed the pace in that game. And you had both the number 4 team in the country and the number 7 team in the country lose last night. 2 potential number 1 seeds there in the tournament. So again, the SEC, just as we talk about it all the time, is a gauntlet of a schedule for all teams in there, as it really seems like any team in the SEC can beat another team in the SEC at any given moment.
It was 2 really good games last night, back and forth kind of to an extent for Ole Miss and Tennessee. Florida, again, I mean, it's kind of, it's not a good look if you're Alabama. This is not the time when you want to start dropping games. You've got to heat up. You've got a big one against the number 1 team in the land this Saturday, and then you've got to get through the SEC tournament. You're going to need to stretch out a few wins, not even for seeding purposes, but for confidence within your team. Florida Gators, again, as you mentioned, they are a dangerous team.
Very, very dangerous
right now.
team.
Alabama did kind of, give them a little bit of a late push last night, but it's going to be interesting to see just this SEC tournament in and of itself. I think your top 4 seeds right now are Auburn, Duke, Houston, and Florida.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair, especially given what transpired yesterday. But with that Florida Gators victory over Alabama last night, they're now just 2 games back of Auburn for that number 1 spot in the SEC regular season. So I think if Alabama were to beat Auburn this Saturday and then Florida wins their game on Saturday, I don't know who they're playing, I could look it up, I think they would then share the SEC regular season title. So Florida's making that push as they're 13-4 in the SEC, and Auburn is 15-2. But Auburn has no easy task there coming up.
So how would they share then? Because even if Auburn were to lose, they would only have 3 losses in the SEC. So it would be. I think Auburn's already got it clinched, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know they clinched a share of the title. I don't know what made it the share of the title. I thought Florida was the team that had a chance to get that share, and if they won out and Auburn lost their last 2 games, it would get there. But 2 games. So, because if Auburn were to, if
they would have lost Tuesday, they did lose Tuesday, but so even now, I mean, I just.
Yeah, I don't know why it's a
Numerically
share
speaking,
of the when they clinched a share of the SEC title there, but yeah, maybe they've got it locked up completely. I don't know. I apologize if I gave some false information there, but yeah, a lot of teams in the top 25 for the Southeastern Conference right now, and potentially 12 of those teams getting in to the NCAA tournament as we get started with the conference championship next week. Looking forward to seeing how these teams fare. Again, you just got to be careful because it's a gauntlet of an SEC tournament. So do you want to really have to play 4 or 5 games leading up to the NCAA tournament?
I think that, again, kind of depends on who you are. If you're Auburn, probably not because you're playing really good basketball. If you're Florida, no. I think for some of the teams kind of struggle. Alabama right now is struggling. I think that almost, I don't want to say the more basketball that you play, the better, but you've got to get hot again. And right now they're not as hot as what they have been. Are they scoring a lot of points? Yes, but the defense is a major letdown.
Yeah, no doubt. And the defense is really what you're going to need to be strong to have a deep run to try to win 6 games and a national championship. But hey, Alabama won the SEC tournament last year and looked pretty good in that. So maybe they'll continue that trend from last year and jump into that as well. But yeah, let's see. Let me see who Florida plays. They've got Ole Miss coming up this Saturday, 5 p.m. on the SEC network. And
that would be wild if Ole Miss wins 3 top 5 wins.
Yep.
Never had one before, I believe, and then you get it done.
Yep, because they beat Alabama, Tennessee, and then what could be Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So Ole Miss Rebels fighting hard there, fighting hard in the SEC. So, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff going on there, too. There's also been some more developments in the NFL as each day we seem to see more and more things transpiring as we get ready for the season to start next week, and things can officially happen starting Monday. But late last night, the San Diego... I was going to say San Diego. The Los Angeles Chargers released defensive end Joey Bosa, ending one of the best 10 years in franchise history. 9 seasons, Bosa rang up 72 sacks. He made 5 Pro Bowls as recently as last season. This move, releasing Joey Bosa, frees up $25 million in cap space for the Chargers. Will we see a Bosa brothers action in the Bay?
That would be interesting, right? If you're the 49ers and the defense kind of slacked on you a little bit last year, why not? There would be a lot of buzz around that situation. Kind of intrigued why, Harbaugh's a big defensive guy as well. What was is it the amount of money, or did he feel like he's kind of running out of, running out of gas? I don't know. We saw Sam Hubbard with the Bengals retire yesterday, and he only played 7, I believe it was 7 years. So
yeah.
It's tough to stay in the league for a long time, and maybe Harbaugh saw the writing on the wall.
Absolutely, and if any coach in the NFL knows the talent that's currently in the NFL draft, it would be Harbaugh, who's just 1 year removed from coaching in college football. So maybe he saw some opportunities in late rounds to pick up some guys that could be replacements there for Joey Bosa, who obviously is a stud on the edge as well. I don't know if we talked about this yesterday or not, but I think it happened after the show. Wide receiver DK Metcalf requested a trade out of Seattle after the team and player clearly could not come to an agreeing on a contract extension. Negotiations are already underway with suitors. There should be plenty of a player for Metcalf's caliber. He's only 27 years old, and we mentioned yesterday that Tyler Lockett did get released from Seattle. So Seattle's going to have to find some either wide receivers in free agency or some wide receivers in the draft, as they lost, arguably to their best 2 receivers out there on the field. I know
they kind of have a good track record of drafting them.
Yeah.
You still have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who really took on a big role for the Seahawks. Where DK is going to go is obviously that's going to be interesting,
no
because
doubt.
Is he going to go somewhere where he's still the number 1? Does he turn into a number 2? Does that then therefore start affecting his ego? So that'll be intriguing. And then, man, it's going to be hard to see Tyler Lockett
in anything other than a Seahawk.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made some huge receptions for the Seahawks in his time.
No doubt. He's been a massive part of that organization for quite some time. Of course, we did mention this as we went out on the show yesterday. Las Vegas made Max Crosby the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history with a 3-year, $106.5 million extension, including $91.5 million of that guaranteed. Obviously, he's certainly worth the money. And obviously the Raiders think he is the centerpiece of their rebuild. So Max Crosby got extended. I know the Niners were, especially Diamonor Lenore, was pushing hard for Max Crosby, and now he's pivoted to Myles Garrett. Maybe now he'll pivot to Joey Bosa as well. And then, of course, Philadelphia, we've talked about the Saquon Barkley extension, 2 years, $41.2 million, making him the highest paid annual average value running back of all time. Not surprising, obviously, how well he played last year, but also kind of a quiet stunner, Zach Baun, who was fantastic for the Eagles last year, especially in that Super Bowl. He's gotten a 3-year, $51 million extension to play, continue to play for 3 more years there with those Philadelphia Eagles. So arguably he was the best linebacker on the market. So Baun will continue to play for the Eagles for at least 3 more years. We talked about the move Chicago has been making to protect Caleb Williams. I think they're doing a wonderful job so far right now. And then obviously Cincinnati they intend to sign Chase and Higgins to long-term deals. Obviously Higgins was a little upset after being franchise tagged for the 2nd straight year versus getting that long-term contract extension. And then Cincinnati had Sam Hubbard retire a couple days ago as well. So kind of a weird offseason up there for Cincinnati so far, but hey, we've got a long, long way to go with what's all going to be transpiring with trades, free agency moves, and all that good stuff. It's going to be interesting to see where all the rosters land going into fantasy football season next year, and make sure we're paying attention to where everybody is, because that's always an interesting crapshoot when it comes to when you're drafting. Like, oh, that guy's with that team now?
Mm-hmm. And not just that, I mean, March 12th, whenever we can actually dive into free agency and some of these deals become more realistic, what do the rosters look like as we get closer to the end of April for the draft? I mean, that's something that really starts affecting fantasy football right there. And then when the draft starts happening, for me, as we get closer, what's going to be going on with the Titans at number 1? Because we're getting closer to a move happening, or do they just stay solidified, or do they wait all the way up until the last minute?
Yes.
And then, boom, trade happens between the Titans, and I think it's going to be the Giants for some reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think all things may be kind of leading to that. But if I was the GM or the organization, I would just wait till right before it was my pick, just for the dramatic flair.
Make it even better. Just wait till the clock is, you know how they give you 10 daggone minutes of it, and then right there, 5 seconds left. Oh, trade happens.
Yes, trade alert. Trade alert.
We get to wait 10 more minutes. They knew exactly who they were going to pick, but they're going to draw it out till the last second.
Yes. A couple quick updates. Alan Sandage will be giving us a call here shortly. Rams and wide receiver Tutu Atwell reached an agreement on a 1-year, $10 million fully guaranteed contract. This deal was negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey. Viking safety Theo Jackson also agreed to a 2-year extension through 2027 worth $12.615 million, including the first 2 years fully guaranteed at signing. Veteran center Mitch Morse, who started all 17 games last season for the Jags, announced his retirement from the NFL after playing 10 seasons. We got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we'll be joined by Alan Sandage. He's a sports director up there at ESPN Richmond, and we're going to talk about his rankings of our quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and defensive backs coming into the NFL draft, and then want to hear his mock 11. It's 11, not 10, because I wanted to see I want to know who he thinks the Niners are going to draft. So you guys are listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be right back with Alan Sandage.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
3-pointer, punch it in!
We're taking March Madness to the next level. Join our bracket challenge at ESPNPC.com to compete with the ESPN Northwest Florida listeners and staff. The top 3 brackets win cash and prizes. Join the madness at ESPNPC.com. The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge is sponsored by PCB Hobby, Pepsi, and Panama City Toyota.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a wind coming out of the west-northwest around 10 miles per hour and the high of 61. Tonight, look for very little wind and partly cloudy skies with a temperature near 47. Tomorrow, a high around 70 and some sun. Saturday, very warm with a high of 70 and light showers. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Bendian's Best Moves is a local moving company in Panama City, providing reliable services to the families and businesses in our community. Coveted for the long list of services they provide, experts at what they do, and they do it all from start to finish. The pros at Bendian's Best Moves have moved doctors, attorneys, pastors, schools, small businesses, the federal government, and they can move you too. For the best moving experience, it's Bendian's Best Moves. Call now, 850-583-0814.
We're betting the limit and covering the spread.
Viva Las Vegas!
The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 here in Panama City and Panama City Beach. 101.9 down there in Port St. Joe. And all of our beautiful listening areas. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. That's Beach House Sales and Development, the Gulf's premier real estate group, specializing in single-family homes, residential, investment condos, vacant land, commercial property, full-scale developments, whatever it is. The wonderful ladies at Beach House Sales and Development will make it easy and take great care of you. Stole that one from a former sponsor of ours there. But I'm excited to talk to him. He used to be a regular on our show, and it's been a while since he's been on the Inside Drive. And that's our good friend. He's the sports director up there at ESPN Richmond, where he gets to cover the Washington Commanders, who are on the up and up and having a lot of fun. Alan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. My headphones don't hurt my head anymore, so that's a positive thing. Hopefully I'll get these staples out here pretty soon and not have to worry about it. But yeah, no, overall doing good. Trying to get a playoff win later on this afternoon in middle school girls soccer, but we'll see how that all goes. But yeah. So
God bless you and your youth sport commitment.
It's it's really my whole life things. I always want to have something to look forward to, and whatever the youth sport I'm involved in, it's something that I look forward to. Now, I will say I'm not coaching Liam in basketball this spring coming up, so I'm excited to watch from the sidelines because I've watched Ryan from the sidelines quite a bit, but don't get to watch Liam from the sideline very often unless I got a play sheet in my hand. So, but still on the sideline there. Let me ask you first, Alan, before we dive into the draft stuff. What did you think about the Deebo Samuel trade? Obviously, you're a Niners fan, but you also are, involved in the Washington Commanders, where you guys cover them. You've been to many of their games in the press box, et cetera, et cetera. What are your thoughts on that trade? I'm very interested to hear what you have to say.
I thought, Deebo's time with the Niners was up. Not really understanding where some people were saying, you could see he was getting phased out of the offense per se. Like the chemistry with Brock Purdy just wasn't there. Brock needs a route runner, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why Ayuk and him had better chemistry, why him and Kittle developed better chemistry, why Jennings and some of the other guys had better chemistry. They've got wider catch radiuses. They just fit his eye more, right? He's more comfortable throwing to those guys. It just seemed like everything to Deebo was really forced this year.
Yeah.
And so in that case, it made perfect business sense to shop him. Getting a 5th round for him, I'm on the fence with that, honestly, given his contract. It was going to be a tough sell. He's had some nagging injuries, which is also a tough sell. For the Commanders, I thought they kind of got ahead of themselves. As you see now, the wide receiver market for free agency is kind of wide open.
And there's a million of them in there. It's insane.
Yeah, I was on the fence, and we got our Raising Hell show tomorrow from 6 to 7 that I host, talking all Commander stuff.
Nice.
I'm gonna say it again.
I've
been saying it all along. Right. It's perfect. They should have been patient, man.
Yeah.
They don't need to be so aggressive. Getting Debo for a 5th, to me, is kind of aggressive. But if he stays healthy, and there's always the if he stays healthy, he'll be a benefit for them in their screen game, and he'll bring a physicality that they're missing. And he's great getting yards after the catch, something they definitely miss in that offense.
Absolutely. That was going to, obviously injuries have kind of been his nagging thing over the last 3 or 4 years, but that was going to be my question too, is are they going to use him like Shanahan did with a lot of bubble screens, getting the ball in his hand quick so he could run, or are they going to kind of, like you said, he's not really this big-time route runner guy. He's a power wide receiver that you get the ball in his hands and he breaks tackles and gets yardage that way. So do you think the Commanders will still continue to use him with that same style despite the injury risk, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think they will. Adam Peters knows what he's getting when he's picking up Debo, just because he was with the organization for so long. And he got to see 2021 Debo when he was at his best, and he had 1,400 yards receiving. So he'll I'm pretty sure he will talk to Cliff, and Cliff's an innovator anyway in his own right. The screen game definitely gets a boost for them. They struggled with that last year, getting yards after the catch, getting guys the ball quickly to the boundary, and having the ability to just get extra yardage and take some of that pressure off the quarterback. So I think that's kind of their game plan. They're not bringing him in to necessarily be the second option that they can lean on, but probably just part of the scheme.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's pivot to the draft, the combine. Obviously, you are an expert when it comes to evaluating, talent and all this stuff. Much more of an expert than I am, that's for sure. So your opinions have always been very, very solid and usually come to fruition. So let's start with kind of just ranking your top guys in each position going into the draft based on their combine performance and what you know about them and all that stuff. Which one do you want to start with? I know we're going to do quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and defensive backs.
We can start with quarterback. That's what everybody wants anyway.
Of course.
That's the most
flashy
talked about position.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Quarterback is tough this year for me because I looked at the top 3-4 guys, and it's kind of a preference thing, if you ask me. I thought Cam Ward looked a lot like Lamar Jackson in the way he throws. And I've seen people say he's got Patrick Mahomes in him. I will fight that to the end. I don't see that at all. Shedeur Sanders, I really think Shedeur's biggest fault is that he's a polarizing last name and comes from Deion Sanders, right? People just assume he's going to come with a lot of baggage. I thought Jackson Dart was underwhelming, and that's just me personally, but the experts and so forth are higher on him. And then there's Tyler Shuck, which looks like it should be, but it's I asked him personally at the Senior Bowl. The Louisville quarterback. He's going to get a bump because he's got the experience factor, right? And I think that's something that people are not talking about that really helped Jaden Daniels and that QB class last year. All those guys had a lot of starts, a lot of experience, and I think that's going to play a big role into people's decision. And then one of the funniest and surprising things is that Quinn Ewers from Texas isn't getting a lot of hype. I even saw a report saying that people were trying to keep it on the low because they want to get him at a value pick later in the draft or later in the first round. But he's got all the right tools. He's been inconsistent in some of his turnovers. Be honest with you, again, this is me talking, but I think a lot of that comes from the system that he came from with Sarkisian and just his dependency on timing throws. You don't really get a lot of that in the NFL on the scale in which you can do it in college. So I think he's got the most upside out of everybody when it comes to where people are projecting him and what he could do at the next level, because he's got all the right tools, and I think he'll be probably the sleeper of this particular, I would say, weak quarterback class.
Yeah, weak is probably fair in comparison, for sure. And obviously there's some other names in there too. Obviously national championship winning Will Howard. What are your thoughts on him? Just, kind of a little bit of a pro style quarterback there, and maybe not the biggest arm in the world. Obviously was benefited by really good receivers there at Ohio State.
Yeah, so Will is he's a safe guy, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if that's going to do it for a lot of people picking in the first round. He's a playmaker. That's to his benefit. He is a winner. He'll give it his all, and he could obviously carry the rock, as we saw when he was with Ohio State and Kansas State.
Yep.
But I think there's limitations to what he can do outside the hashes and outside the numbers. So boundary throws, which are really the meat and
that's the bread and butter
of your offense at the next level. Like, you got to be able to get the ball outside the numbers to your playmakers and to stretch these really athletic defenses at the highest level. And you go back to his game against Michigan, he struggled with that. And Michigan ran a hyper-aggressive defense because of Wink Martindale, but just the looks that they were giving him, and a lot of it was just man-beater defense, right? You got to beat the man-to-man, and he struggled against them, and that bothers me a little bit. When he saw that in the playoffs, he didn't have too many issues with it because he was stretching teams vertically. He was able to go down the field, get it to Jeremiah Smith and those guys just going vertical. You're not going to get that luxury often at the NFL level. So you're going to have to make those throws that you struggle with, which are the comebacks, the sticks, and those outside the number routes that I just don't think is really part of his game.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Obviously, your speed in the NFL is tremendously different than college, and you got to be able to get that ball out on time with a lot of velocity to those boundaries to really be able to move your team down the field in the NFL. All right, let's pivot over to the running back side of things. Obviously, I think the general consensus for most people is Ashton Jeanty when it comes to the top running back getting picked this year. What do you think?
Yeah, so running back is, my notes, deepest running back class I can remember, man. I mean, you could find a playmaker all the way down to the 20th or 21st pick of their position, right? I'm looking at ESPN right now. They've got Ollie Gordon II from Oklahoma State rated as the number 21 running back of this class. Ollie Gordon was one of the best running backs in the nation when he was active at Oklahoma State, right? So, like, you're getting value across the board. I think it's really, again, about preference, what you're looking for. All these guys can catch out the backfield. All these guys have the ability to pass protect. I think some of them have big playability, more so with their speed than other guys, but most of them have good vision. Really not a knock. And it's funny, I like Omarion Hampton from North Carolina more than I like Ashton Jeanty. And just to humor myself, I went to NFL.com because I love to see Lance Zierlein's player comps from time to time. And he compared Ashton Jeanty to LaDainian Tomlinson, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, because anytime you're getting compared to LT, you are in rare air. LaDainian was just absolutely amazing. Jeanty has that same upside for sure.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be missing too much between Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton's production, Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State, Devin Neal from Kansas, like all these guys, Damian Martinez from Miami, all these guys are going to give you really good value at the running back position. So if you're in need of a running back, this is the class in the draft for you. Ashton Jeanty's position is funny. If you're picking him in the top 7, you're probably overdrafting a little compared to what you would get with everybody else. But if you're picking him after number 10, you're getting great value. It's like you're splitting hairs that closely in this draft.
Yeah, with the difference between 3 picks, one way or the other, could be great value or getting them a little earlier. But yeah, I was kind of looking through some of these names in like you said, in ESPN's top 25, and when you got Rocket Sanders from South Carolina all the way down there at 24, followed by Jarquez Hunter, that just goes to show how deep this running back class, in comparison, especially to the quarterback class, really is. But it'd be fun to see how it all kind of shakes out as we get closer to the draft here coming up in about a little over a month. So looking forward to that. Any other running back names on here that people should be aware of and want to pay attention to?
Oh, yes. Brashard Smith from SMU. That guy's acceleration is next level. I had the luxury of seeing him in person several times, thanks to the expansion of our conference.
Of the new ACC SMU Mustangs.
It disgusts me. I'm such an old school person when it comes to like the conferences and stuff. I'm the only person in Virginia still screaming to bring the Big East back. So, but seeing him in person, just how he shifts gears and just how explosive he is. If SMU had gotten him more involved earlier against Clemson, they would have won that game in the conference championship. And then Bashul Tutin. Somebody you guys are probably not familiar with, but he's from Virginia Tech. He's the guy that ran the 4.2. He's 5'9". He's got a 40-inch vertical. He ran a 4.2. He's an absolute, he's an absolute beast when it comes to athleticism. I interviewed him at the Senior Bowl and just kind of, just for the fun of it, just threw out a question about who would he compare himself to when it comes to the NFL. And he gave me a range, but he said he thought his ceiling could be the type of playmaker that Saquon Barkley is. And that kind of confidence is good, and he should expect that, right? But then you look at his measurements and his athleticism. It's like, dude, maybe you could. I don't know if he squats 600 pounds, but I've seen him run between the tackles for the Hokies. He was their offense for a big portion of the year. And if you want to see what he can do when you literally lean on him, that game against Syracuse, I think he was pretty much the X factor. I can't remember if they ended up winning it or not. They had a really disappointing season collectively, but he was the brightest spot of their offense. So I really like him and think people need to look out for him.
Yeah, no doubt. 5'9", and you got a 40-inch vertical. That's like some Spud Webb action there. That's
we got another Virginia guy too, Travion Henderson, but everybody knows him.
Yeah,
he's from Ohio State.
Absolutely. All right, real quick, pivoting over to the wide receiver side of things. Who are some of the guys that you're looking at to go pretty early here in the draft?
All right, I practiced his name 20 times before I got on just to get it right, but I'm probably going to jack it up. Tatora McMillan. I'm going to call him TT.
Yeah, there you go. We had Keith on yesterday, so you're fine with pronunciation.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But he, man, I don't throw this around lightly, but you look at his measurements. He's 6'5", 210. You look at his film. He was a little hurt last year. Some people think he hadn't fully recovered, but you can go back to 2023 to probably get a better idea of who he is when he's 100% healthy. But it just screams Mike Evans to me, man. He is so good. Like he's the more difficult to catch, the more likely he's going to make it. Like that's who he is. Just an absolute monster on the outside. I made a note. This wide receiver class isn't as deep as the running backs, but I think they have the most ready now collection of players of any position, right? You put these guys in the game today, they're all going to be excellent additions to your team, and I think it's because all of them are amazing route runners. Now, in years past, like the last maybe 3-4 drafts, I think a lot of guys have been yak guys, so guys that, once they get the ball in their hands, they do a lot of things. But this class, I don't think is as deep of yards after the catch guys, but they're all very, very skilled route runners, which can go a long way. Matthew Golden definitely is going to shoot up a lot of boards from Texas. He actually ran the 4.2, unlike Isaiah Bond, who tried to put himself in the crosshairs on the wrong side.
Yeah, when you go out and call out Xavier Worthy and then you don't do it, you're just setting yourself up for failure. That's for sure.
Yeah, but most of these guys are generally around like 6 foot, and if they're not 6 foot, they're carrying some decent weight, except for Tez Johnson, who's 5'10", 160. I have no idea what's going on there, but you're going to get some
good wide receiver.
Yeah, you're going to get some good production out of these guys. Again, pretty much down to probably about your number like 22 at the position. But like Brew McCoy, like we know who Brew McCoy is. We would think he's a good receiver. He's ranked like 20th by ESPN at the position. So if that's what you're getting that deep at wide receiver, I think you got some good things going for you.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously route running is key in this day's NFL. Getting separation to make it easier on your quarterbacks is really what it's all about. So, with this class being so good at route running, I think we're going to see a lot of good value, second, third, fourth rounds with a lot of big-time names coming up. Alan, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we'll dive into some defensive backs, and then, of course, get your mock draft top 11 picks and where you think they're going. You guys listen to the Inside Drive. We got Alan Sandage on the line from ESPN Richmond. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. The Lakers have lovable Luka, and the Lakers have always understood this, and the Clippers in their growth and their ascension don't understand this. It's not just about having a star. It's about, in Los Angeles, having the right star. This is not Indianapolis. This is not Orlando. The right star.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is the sound of real people across Florida betting on sports. It's the sound of winning your bet, only on Hard Rock Bet. And if your first bet doesn't win, you get up to $100 back to try again. Hard Rock Bet is Florida's only legal sports book. Your home for betting hoops or any sport you choose. Download Hard Rock Bet now and get 2 shots at your first bet. Win, or you'll get up to $100 back as a bonus bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to play. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Imagine this. You step onto a beautiful boat, the sun on your face, a drink in your hand, and no boat payments, no maintenance, and no stress. Carefree Boat Club of Panama City is giving you the chance to join with $0 down. No upfront membership fee, just unlimited boating. Hurry, this $0 new membership drive won't last long. Call 850-964-6400 or visit carefreeboats.com. Start living the boat life without the boat hassle. Carefree Boat Club, boating made easy.
Get ready to connect. ESPN Northwest Florida is thrilled to introduce the newest rock stars to the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome to the Beach Chamber.
Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Christopher Mize Art, Dr. K's Panama City Car Wash, Equitable Advisors, Tom Zupancic, and Frankfurt Self Storage. We're here to champion your success and connect you with this amazing community.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
And the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, reaching Bay County and beyond.
From the fairway to the rough.
I was hoping to squeeze in 9 holes before this rain starts.
From the greens to the bunker.
Certainly, Your Eminency.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
The good Lord would never disrupt the best game of my life.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got Alan Sandage on the line. He's a sports director up there at ESPN Richmond, and he is a talent evaluator expert, and that's why we have him on the line right now talking about our NFL draft prospects and who's going to be going and who really increased their draft stock with the Combine, the Senior Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. We've talked about quarterbacks, running backs. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about, Alan?
Not really. I mean, you already know you can get anybody from Ohio State, and they're going to be good. Wide receiver, Jack Beck from TCU. I don't think he's going to sneak up on anybody anymore because he had a really good Senior Bowl, and he tested pretty decently and has some really good film as well. So I think wide receiver class is probably the one that you can be most confident in, whatever your evaluation is of that particular player.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's swing over to where one of the most flashy players in this draft are, and that's your cornerbacks and your safeties. Who are some of the people we should be looking at, and is Mr. Hunter going to be going as early as people think he is?
Yeah, I think he should be, because, again, he actually came in a lot bigger than I think people anticipated. One thing to note about Travis Hunter, he's 6'1". His reach, I think, for his arms make him close to like 7 foot. Just keep that in mind. Like, he's got some long arms, and he's got some pretty decent sized hands as well. And if anybody had questions about whether or not he's fast enough or something like that, look, I compared him to Sauce Gardner as far as like his size. When Sauce came out of Cincinnati, I'm pretty sure they're probably about 5, maybe 7 pounds off, and maybe an inch or so off, but the radius in which they can bat down passes with their long arms just means everything. I will die on the hill. Travis Hunter is the most just the best instincts of any corner I've seen come out of college. Mind you guys, I did not see Deion Sanders in this capacity. I was a kid, so obviously Deion probably would be better, but like, I'm talking Champ Bailey, all these guys, when it comes to instincts, just natural instincts of covering routes and not getting pass interference and just breaking up passes and stuff, he's so good at it. It's just ridiculous. And Will Johnson behind him from Michigan is equally as good, but like it's to me, and I made a note of it, when I'm looking at these guys, when I go to the tiebreaker, whether I'm picking a Travis Hunter, a Will Johnson, or anybody else that's in this draft, it's going to go to instincts, because I think that's what's going to separate the corners in this particular class, is which guys have the best anticipation and the best ability to cover without getting penalties.
Yeah, because instinct's obviously something you can't teach, something it's a natural ability, and the better your instincts are paired with, working hard at getting better at your craft, obviously is a dangerous thing. So, yes, Travis Hunter looking to go very, very early. Once we get to your mock drafts, we'll find out where you think he's going. All right, what about any other, I know you mentioned Will Johnson, any other corners or safeties that people should be aware of when it comes to their teams potentially drafting some of them?
Yeah, for the corner position, just to note, the smallest corner in the projected top 12 of their position rankings is 5'11", 200 pounds. There's a lot of size in these corners. A lot of 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 200-pound guys, and you got to keep that in mind. You're getting some really good athletes. The one guy I would bring up only because I feel like he fell under the radar because he tore his ACL, unfortunately. Siobhan, I want to say Revel Jr. It might be Revel, but Revel Jr. From East Carolina. He's 6'3", 193 pounds. Before he tore his ACL, he was without a doubt the best corner in the nation. That's me even saying that I love Travis Hunter as much as I do. I think he was better than Travis Hunter, just because of the size and his ability to just win every 50-50 ball. And I know people might be like, oh, he plays for ECU. Listen, Quinyon Mitchell played at Toledo, and you have to be blind to not see the talent that he had when he was at Toledo. It doesn't matter who he played.
Yeah.
And I love to tell the story that he came to the Senior Bowl last year. Nobody really knew who he was other than he was a guy from Toledo, and he was talented. Nick Saban tried to pry him from Toledo to come to Alabama. He refused. That was basically the story. And Quinyon Mitchell was so good during one-on-ones, they stopped using him because they couldn't evaluate the receivers. He put everybody in the box. Pearsall, Ladd, McConkey, all these guys that came through. What's my guy from Carolina that went to South Carolina? He put him in a box too. Every single one of them, lined them up, and he beat them all at corner. And so you gotta really evaluate what you're working with at that position. You can't just go off of the pedigree of the university or the conference. You really have to watch the tape on those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of size is huge. You pair that size with that speed, and that's exactly what you need in the NFL to just be plugged right in and make an impact on the defense. All right, what about on the safety side of things?
For the safeties, I don't know if a lot of safeties are going to go early. I think most people are just going to wait it out, and there'll be a lot of second-round picks for them. You might find the gentleman from Georgia, Malachi Starks, he might go. And then my guy from South Carolina, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Eamon Worry or whatever it is.
Yeah, Emin Worry, I think is his name. He'll probably go as well.
6'3", 227.
6'3", 227, yeah, and he can move.
That's a big
He can move.
boy.
Now, here's the thing about a guy like him at 6'3", 227. We do still have some people who have these tweener safeties, and I always go back to Isaiah Simmons when he came out of Clemson. He was like one of those guys that everybody wanted to kind of revolutionize the safety position and kind of have him as like a rover. Like he's a safety, he's a linebacker too, right? It just didn't work for him because he wasn't that good in run defense. And guess what? When people see that you can't handle run defense, they run at you. And so he has some issues trying to fit in the league. I don't think Nick's going to have to worry about that. He's a really talented guy. Yeah. But outside of that, like Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman are probably the next two names that jump up. I don't think they're going to be day one guys. Probably mid to low day two guys. I would say look out for Jonas Sanker from Virginia just because of his athleticism. Somebody might take a shot on him around like round 3 or 4.
There you go. Seems like these DBs and safeties kind of falling in line with the wide receivers. Got some depth as it goes down into the further rounds, with even like guys like Malachi Moore from Alabama being outside of the top 10 in their particular position. So some teams will get a little lucky later in the draft and potentially be able to use some of that capital. I'm just glad the Niners have a plethora of picks this year. Just seems like we're finally catching up to having picks. All right, Alan, let's dive through it. Let's get your top 10, top 11 picks in your projections for the 2025 NFL Draft. Obviously, a question is, will the Titans use their number 1 pick, or will they indeed trade it? I guess you'll answer that when you tell us who you think's going to go number 1 and where they're going to go.
Yeah, so the mock draft, please nobody hold me to it.
We're going to hold you to it, that's for sure.
I have the Titans taking a quarterback just because of Callahan. I think after him doing that season with Will Levis, he'd rather just start anew with his guy, right? He wants to get his guy in there, and I've got Cam Ward going to them as the number 1 pick. The reason why I did that is because got the QB-minded coach, and Cam Ward probably got the most enticing upside of the quarterbacks. He came from an FCS level school, went to Washington State, went to Miami. He's excelled at every single stop, right? That's the type of talent that you want to work with if you're a coach.
Yeah, no doubt. He can, and quarterbacks in this NFL day and age, the key with them is they've got to be able to extend the plays. Obviously, being able to throw in the pocket and be a little mobile too is important. But extending plays, getting first downs on third down with your legs, that's what the modern day NFL quarterback needs to have a little bit of that ability to do, because that takes a little more pressure off that actual quarterback from having to make those perfect throws and all that good stuff. So it seems like Cam Ward, another one of those guys that can extend some plays there with his legs.
Yeah, and like I said, I think his throwing motion is reminiscent of Lamar Jackson, but who am I?
Yeah. Well, you're our proclaimed expert, so.
Yeah. Well, don't say it so negative.
Oh, no. I was
just messing with you.
Very positive. Very positive.
I think the Browns are going to mess it up and get Jackson Dart at the number 2 pick. And I say mess it up because I don't think Jackson Dart needs to be drafted that high. And in fact, again, I think Quinn Ewers is a better NFL prospect than Jackson Dart. But Jackson Dart has the eye of a lot of folks who start the rumor mill around this silly season we call the NFL Draft. So I think the Browns take a chance with him. And then I've got the Giants getting Shedeur Sanders, despite Deion saying he wouldn't let him go to a bad team. I think he's already built some rapport with Malik Neighbors. I think it's in the works.
Yeah. I mean, and if, going to a market, obviously the New York City market is a very flashy, big-time market as well. So obviously something Shedeur could easily fit into, like his dad. All right, who do you got next going to the Patriots?
To the Patriots is Travis Hunter. I think it's potential for the Patriots to address all three things that they need. They need a playmaker, they need a playmaker on offense, and they need a playmaker on defense. So just put it all together. Just get Travis Hunter, make it simple for yourself, give Drake May a potential weapon on offense, give Christian Gonzalez a complimentary piece on defense, and you'll have the two best young corners in the league. Like, that would be probably the best tandem under 25.
Yeah,
when it comes to corner.
No doubt. So you definitely think he's going to be playing on both sides of the ball in the NFL?
Yeah. You can't not try it. Like, how much of that happens, who knows? But there's just no way you're going to let something like we just saw them take a position player last year or a defensive player last year and put him at running back or something like that, didn't they?
Yeah, something like, I forget who it was, but yeah.
And the franchise has a history of doing that.
Yep.
With Troy Brown, I think it was, back when Brady played.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't think they'll have a problem with it.
No, absolutely, especially, a guy with so much proven talent on both sides of the ball, like you said, with that massive arm length, not only good for batting down balls, but catching passes. That pass catch radius is massive. All right, number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who are they taking?
Jacksonville Jaguars, I got taking Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. Just because they let Christian Kirk walk, I think they'll still want that deep threat ability that he brings.
Definitely. All right, the Las Vegas Raiders, who just dropped a massive bag on Max Crosby.
So, Las Vegas Raiders, so I put Oakland. I
say Oakland all the time.
Yeah, I've got them taking Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. Now, they could go quarterback. They should go quarterback if they can. They're probably a candidate to trade up as well. But Mason Graham, I really think, has the ability to be a disruptor like Jalen Carter was. And if you're not familiar with Mason Graham in Michigan, check his tape. I mean, he's great. He's really, really good. And he comes off like a rhino, but he's very skilled in what he does.
I like it. Hey, Alan, real quick as we're getting up to our top of the hour break, who do you got the Jets taking?
I can run through it real quick.
Yeah.
Jets, Quinn Ewers at quarterback. Panthers, Abdul Carter. Saints, Jalen Walker from Georgia. Chicago, Josh Simmons, a left tackle from Ohio State. And then the Niners get Will Johnson, the cornerback at Michigan, because he's best available or likely trade down.
There you go. Alan, we appreciate you jumping on with us. You guys can check out ESPN Richmond on Facebook and hear Alan. And you can check out the, what was it called? I love the name of the show.
Raising Hail.
Raising Hail. Like hail the Redskins. Like back
hail to the Commanders, hail to the Redskins.
There you go. Well, Alan, we appreciate you jumping on with us. And hopefully it's not too long before we talk to you again.
All right, take care.
All right, Alan Sandage joining us, going through his draft action. And if you've listened to him before, he's been very, very solid when it comes to this kind of stuff. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back with our afternoon delight debrief on this still blustery Thursday.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
It's that time of year again. The Women's Civic Club of Panama City Beach presents the Spring Fling Juried Arts and Crafts Show, Saturday, March 8th from 9 to 3 at Frank Brown Park Recreation Center. Donation is only $1 for adults. Sponsored by the Women's Civic Club of Panama City Beach, a nonprofit organization supporting charitable causes in Panama City Beach and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Thursday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze out of the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 61. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 2 miles per hour and be cool at 47. Partly sunny tomorrow and a high 70 with a gentle breeze. Light rain Saturday with a temp of 70. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Powered by Panama City Toyota. Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start. Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, inside the Golf Plus studios. We appreciate Alan Watson and the Golf Plus teams on jumping in an opportunity to sponsor our studio. We appreciate it very much. They've obviously got two great locations, one right here in Panama City Beach in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza, right there next to Firefly, and then, of course, up there in Dothan off of 231. Beautiful thing about Golf Plus, not only does it sell new equipment, they also sell used equipment. They'll fit you for equipment. And the UV can even rent you some simulator time if you're just wanting to go play some rainy golf. Rainy golf is not affected when it's inside, so go check out their simulators as well. Great apparel selection too. Lots of t-shirts, comfy t-shirts, cool golf shirts, ball markers, head covers, all that wonderful stuff. A lot of cool custom stuff in there as well. Alan does a wonderful job providing a nice selection and variety, and is up to date on all the most popular brands out there right now. But it is time for our Afternoon Delight debrief. Appreciate you guys tuning in on 104.3 here in Panama City or Panama City Beach. If you're listening in Port St. Joe on 101.9, we appreciate you very much. And then, of course, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We stream live every day, Monday through Friday. Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9, Inside Drive from 11 to 1, Afternoon Underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. You can also head over to ESPNPC.com. Multiple things to do there now. Of course, if you want to save some money on your streaming services, just scroll down till you see that TV channel icon. That is Lucid Streams TV. Over 2,000 TV channels on demand. All the local sports, all the regional sports, all the national professional sports, all the pay-per-view events. Literally any type of programming you want to watch is right there on Lucid Streams TV. And, of course, over 10,000 movies on demand. All you got to do is click that TV channel icon, follow the prompts, use code ESPN-NW, and you will get it for a mere $41.99 a month. And then, of course, while you're also there at ESPN or PC.com, it's that time of year. We've got one more regular season game for most conferences left this upcoming weekend, and then the conference tournaments get underway. And then next Sunday, starting at 5 p.m., we'll have the Selection Sunday coverage right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And then once the bracket is officially set, when you're at ESPNPC.com, just click that banner ad that says ESPN Northwest Florida's Big Bracket Challenge. That'll take you to the Big Bracket Challenge. Obviously, you have to have an ESPN fantasy account, which I believe most people do nowadays, as it's more of one of the more popular used fantasy platforms. So then you'll fill out your bracket. You'll have an opportunity to win some cash and prizes. That's a big thank you to Panama City Toyota, PCB Hobby, as well as Pepsi for providing some of those prizes. For our listeners, you can also invite your friends and coworkers to join as well. Once you're in there, you can send them a link. It is open to everybody out there. So we look forward to keeping everybody updated on the madness that will no doubt soon come here in March. A couple weeks. Hard to believe we're right there with some March Madness action. All right. Also, don't forget to download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. 104.3 is all you got to search. And you'll find it right there on the first page. There's also a lot of contests we do in that app as well. So you've got plenty of other apps you've got downloaded, so you might as well download the ESPN Northwest Florida app as well. All right, I'm going to dive into some afternoon delight debriefs. This one's one I came across from a Instagram account. It says a business rivalry led to a series of hired hitmen outsourcing the job to others, each taking a smaller cut of the payment. The absurdity peaked when the last hitman contacted the intended victim to fake his own death instead. Ultimately, justice prevailed and all involved faced legal consequences for their actions. Back in 2013, a Chinese businessman hired a hitman to take out his competitor for $282,000. But the hitman hired another man to do the job, offering $141,000. That man hired another hitman who hired another hitman who hired another hitman. The final hitman was only offered $14,100, and he contacted the target to ask him to fake his death. All 6 men were convicted of attempted murder by the court and sentenced up to 5 years in prison.
What about the guy who faked his own death? I mean, because it's illegal to fake your own death as well, right? So
I mean, in China, I think everything's illegal. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. So from the top to the bottom, everyone got
in trouble, facing up to 5 years in prison.
Smooth criminals.
Yeah, and you know, Michael Jackson would be disappointed in these particular gentlemen. But yeah, I guess
what kind of a sorry hitman is trying to, you know, I guess at the end of the day, if you're a hitman, you would know that if you want the job done right, you got to do it yourself.
I guess, or it just keeps getting outsourced all the way
down.
The
more mouths that, you know, or the more ears that are involved with it. I don't know. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe you shouldn't hire Chinese hitmen.
Yeah, maybe you should just do better at your business and try to outdo your competitor without having to take him out. I don't know. I've never dabbled in that department, so hope to never do that as well. But yeah, just thought that was an interesting and pretty wild story. And the things that people will certainly do is a never-ending list of craziness. This says, viral photos show giraffe being transported in the back of a pickup truck. March 5th, photos of a giraffe traveling in the bed of a pickup truck near Detroit went viral on social media. The animal turned out to be quite real, albeit deceased. Ooh, didn't know that. Nathan Shemansky posted the photos taken by a friend to Facebook showing what appeared to be a giraffe being transported in the bed of a pickup truck in Macomb County. The photos went viral after being shared by the Macomb County scanner page. The driver of the truck was later identified as Darren Wayner, who works at St. Clair Flats Taxidermy. Wayner, a professional taxidermist and an occasional big game hunter, said the giraffe had died naturally of old age at the zoo, and he had been hired to preserve the animal for display at a museum. My job is to preserve them so you can appreciate them forever. Some people may find it strange or different, but to me, it's art, he told Fox 2 Detroit. He said he was about 60 hours into the process of preserving the giraffe when the need arose to transport his work to a second location. When we receive it, it's no different than leather. It's just leather with hair on it, he said. And that's basically the gist of the story of the dead giraffe in the back of the pickup truck.
Did this guy get in trouble too?
Didn't say he did.
Okay.
Maybe it's,
Yeah, I mean, if you just, basically doing taxidermy?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Joe's taxidermy.
That would be something weird, something that you don't see every day on the roads, though, is a giraffe in the back of a pickup truck. You would think, maybe like a large trailer, strap that thing down.
I don't know how they got him in the pickup truck, but probably needed a skid steer or something like that to get him in there, because as you can see from the picture, he's a pretty large giraffe in the back of that pickup truck. Looks like a Ford as well that the giraffe is in the pickup truck of, but
brings a whole new meaning to Found on Road Dead.
That's right. That's right. I don't know what museum it was going to go to, but yeah, interesting nonetheless. Joe's Taxidermy, you snuff them, we stuff them. Oh man, another giraffe story. Man, just giraffe escapes Arizona zoo enclosure to snack on tree. This one was clearly alive and well. This is from today. An Arizona zoo opened up late due to a 3-year-old giraffe escaping from her enclosure to make a meal out of a nearby tree. The Reed Park Zoo in Tucson, Arizona said Miss Tuni, M-S-I-T-U-N-I, a giraffe who had only been in the zoo for a short time, was found outside her enclosure just before 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Miss Atuni was calm throughout this time, the zoo said on social media. She stayed in one place, looking around and snacking on a nearby mesquite tree. The giraffe eventually returned to her habitat on her own. The zoo's opening was delayed for about an hour and a half as a result of the escape. There will be short-term modifications made before Miss Atuni is able to be back on habitat, and those modifications began immediately following the incident, the Post said. Longer-term permanent modifications will be made as well to accommodate Miss Atuni's athletic and curious nature. Miss Atuni is a top 20 prospect in the safari draft coming up here soon.
Yeah, how sick would that be if we could teach animals how to play football?
True.
You have wide receivers and cornerbacks being giraffes. What would the quarterback be? Maybe a gorilla?
Yeah.
Chimpanzee?
Or some kind of...
something with thumbs.
Yeah, thumbs are important to throw football, so yeah, no doubt. But yeah, 2 giraffe stories there right off the get-go. Let's see, there's some other good ones here. Vienna's Vegetable Orchestra earns world record by playing with food. March 5th, the world's first and possibly only orchestra to exclusively make music from vegetable instruments was awarded a Guinness Book of World Records record after playing 344 concerts over the course of 27 years. The 11-piece vegetable orchestra formed in Vienna, Austria in 1999 when musicians of various backgrounds came together with the idea of carving veggies into instruments. I'm guessing there was a lot of woodwind instruments in this particular band, or veggie wind instruments. It all started as a joke. Founding member Matthias Meinharder told the BBC in 2019, he said the founding 4 members had been signed up for a performance art festival in Vienna. We were brainstorming on what we could do, and we thought, what's the most difficult thing to play music on? He said. We were making soup together at the time, and one idea led to another. Performers have now perfected the art of playing with their food. Their instruments included carrots carved into recorders and leeks into mandolins. The orchestra was awarded the Guinness World Record for most concerts by a vegetable orchestra after playing their 344th show. So apparently 343 had already been done. The musicians said they carve fresh vegetables before every performance, as their instruments only last for about 6 hours.
That was going to be one of my questions.
Before starting to rot or losing their shape. So no, it's not.
My recorder's getting a little droopy over here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have the same tone anymore. Any unused vegetables are made into a soup to be served at the concert, and the spent instruments are turned into organic waste to keep the concerts eco-friendly. The orchestra told Guinness World Records that only one subject is off limits during their concert, asking whether the musicians are vegetarians. No, we are not. Don't ask again, they said. We have heard this question 3 million times. So Little Vegetable Orchestra, you can check that out on YouTube as well. You can see what they're doing, but interesting.
Yeah, not a concert I'd necessarily be the most ecstatic about going to, but a very cool idea and another pointless record broken.
Yes, another record that we didn't even know was a record, nor did we probably care. But
yeah,
it's kind of the point of this afternoon delight debrief. It's a lot of silly things that really don't matter, but just keeping everybody up to date on what's going on out there in the rest of the world. I was going to read that one just because I wanted to say heifer.
There you go. I think that's a great reason to continue on.
It's just such a fun word to say about the old female cows. So I'll read it. Heifer briefly escapes Houston rodeo. It may not be as exciting as I thought. Chaos briefly erupted at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo in Texas when a heifer escaped from its handlers and took off running. The Houston Police Officers Union shared a video on social media showing the bovine fleeing from the rodeo grounds with a pursuer falling to the ground. Houston, we have a problem, police wrote. The Post said the cow was last seen running north on toward Old Spanish Trail. A spokesperson for the rodeo said the cow was only loose loose for about 5 minutes before rounding up past the guard gate at NRG Stadium.
Wow.
The representative said there were no injuries to humans or bovines. So obviously they probably used people that were participating in the rodeo to wrangle up the loose heifer.
Good old rodeo clowns.
That's it. That is.
I'm sure that they felt a little bit more at ease with that, even though, it's still a big animal, but they're used to taking on them bulls.
Yeah, no doubt. Angry bulls and,
Angry bulls looking for heifers are even worse.
Yeah, but tough looking for those heifers with that thing wrapped around their you-know-what. All right, coyote rescued between fence and wall at elementary school. Let's see, this is from March 4th. Emergency responders in Mexico came to the rescue of a coyote found trapped between a wall and a fence outside an elementary school. Civil Protection Nuevo Leon said on social media that personnel responded Monday to Lawrence Institute in Monterey, where a coyote had been spotted on the school's campus. I wonder if it was Wiley. A video of the rescue shows crew members climbing onto the roof of a small building outside of the school so they could reach where the coyote was trapped between a wall and a fence. The coyote was taken to a rehabilitation center to be checked out by veterinarians before returning to the wild. That one wasn't quite as exciting unless you were the coyote. Ooh, here's an interesting one. This one, Jay might be able to beat this one. Man flies paper plane in 5.12 seconds to break a world record. A serial Guinness World Record breaker bested one of his own titles by folding and throwing a paper plane in just 5.12 seconds. David Rush, I think we've talked about this particular gentleman before, who holds the most concurrent Guinness World Record titles, attempted to beat his own record for the fastest time to fold and throw a paper airplane during a visit to Guinness World Records headquarters in London. Rush has previously set the record at 6.15 seconds and managed to break his own record time of 5.12 seconds. While the paper airplane may not win any awards for its aesthetics, it's undoubtedly the most beautiful one I've ever made and now is housed in the Guinness World Records cabinet in London, Rush wrote online. It's proof that sometimes speed and precision outweigh perfection. Originally, when I saw that title, I thought it was like the paper airplane flew for 5.12 seconds.
Oh, it's just him folding them.
Yeah, it's folding it and then throwing it. Yeah, but that's super fast. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, folding
4,
it and throwing
5,
it. But, yeah. I mean, does anything constitute as a paper airplane, or does it have to? Didn't sound like because technically you could just fold a piece of paper and throw it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that would take me 5 seconds.
Yeah.
To do one fold.
Yeah.
Now, if if it has to resemble some sort of an airplane,
there's got to be some kind of stipulation.
It takes me about 20 minutes to fold up a paper airplane.
A good one, yeah, no doubt. And the aerodynamics and the design.
Still ain't good. Mine ain't, anyways.
Yeah, there's some good ways to do it. That's for certain.
Mine kind of goes like a helicopter, but not like the actual helicopter. More just like the prop, the propeller,
the rotor.
Rotor, yeah. It just goes down to the ground.
There you go. Well, and helicopters technically aren't aerodynamic or really supposed to fly at all. They're actually designed. They're very that's why they're so dangerous a lot of times, because the way they're actually designed is obviously they create lift, but a helicopter pilot told me one time that helicopters aren't designed to fly. They fly, but they're really not meant to the way they're designed.
More like to hover, or?
Yeah. And that's why they have so many incidents when the two rotors get out of timing, your tail rotor and then your main rotor. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've got a couple more. I know we got about 2 minutes left. All right, I'll hit this one real quick. Possum leads police on a slow-speed pursuit across California bridge. March 4th, California Highway Patrol entered an extremely slow-speed pursuit when a possum was found trying to cross the upper deck of the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. He was just trying to get across the bay, that's all. California Highway Patrol San Francisco area said an officer responded to a call about a possum on a bridge and was able to locate the animal near Treasure Island. as CHP San Francisco Motor Officer Park located the possum. An extremely slow-speed pursuit was initiated as the possum failed to yield to Officer Pack's directions, CHP San Francisco said on social media. So he was resisting directions there from the CHP. The possum continued westbound in its attempt to evade, even attempting to turn around and escape going the wrong way against traffic. The chase was soon joined by a witness and the owner of the nonprofit rescue shelter, Jelly's Place. Our furry possum friend was safely detained and removed from a dangerous location without further incident, the Post said. You are welcome for me telling you that story today. I know you certainly
you needed that one in your life.
You did need that one. But the Bay Bridge, obviously, famously, is the bridge that the upper deck collapsed during the 1989 earthquake out there in San Francisco. But we got to go ahead and take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk a little update about what's going on at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. You guys listen to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Well, I'm Wildcat on the Coach James Hale Show, and without missing a beat, the guy turns around and looks at me and says, "It really sucks to be you, don't it?"
He got your autograph. He won the bag last year. So he was
go the Pete Rose route, man. Start charging for autographs.
Exactly. Weekday morning 7 to 9, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Thursday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze out of the west-northwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 61. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and a wind speed of 2 miles per hour and be cool at 47. Partly sunny tomorrow and a high 70 with a gentle breeze. Light rain Saturday with a temp of 70. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot.
Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget about the ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Big Bracket Challenge as we get ever so closer to the start of the NCAA men's tournament. You need to get in there to ESPNPC.com. Click on that banner ad. It'll take you to the sign up if you already have an ESPN fantasy account, which I'm assuming most of you do. It'll take you right there. Just enter the group. And after the Selection Sunday transpires, which will be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida on Sunday, March 16th at 5 p.m., those brackets will be live, and you can go ahead and fill it out. One entry per person. There's some cash and prizes for first, second, and third. We appreciate PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, and Pepsi for sponsoring ESPN Northwest Florida's Big Bracket Challenge. You got to do a bracket. It's just part of March Madness. It's kind of like sports betting and all that stuff. It kind of keeps you involved a little bit, and it's you got to pick some upsets. You just hope you pick the right upsets. That's for sure.
Do you do one bracket or multiple?
I like to just do one because I don't know. I feel like I do multiple. I don't want to say I'm cheating the system, but I like to be one and done. I don't know.
It's hard to cheat a system that hasn't been broken yet. So I do one, and that's the one that counts for me.
Yeah. That's
all of the others are chase for perfection.
Gotcha. Yeah, and
I'll take the money to the bank, but I won't be like, oh yeah, I had this one going, no. But I do have one and that's the only one that counts for me that is, legitimate. All the other ones are, I had one last year that was in the top 99%, and it's like, yeah, but that, it doesn't count.
Because it wasn't your first picked one. Yeah, no, I get that.
Well, yeah, because I make my one that is, this is my bracket. Then I gotta have one. Like, I don't think Alabama's gonna win the title this year.
But you gotta have one where you have them going there.
I'm gonna have a bracket where Alabama wins.
Absolutely.
I've done that every year that they've been in the tournament. My entire life of making brackets, I've had one with a path for Alabama to win.
That's fun. I mean, it's how it's what you should do. It gives you, that extra reason to root for your team or whatever it may be. All right, real quick, want to update everybody on the Arnold Palmer Invitational. It has been going since earlier this morning, and obviously conditions are challenging out there. We talked about it a good bit yesterday with Keith, but the rough is up. It's breezy, not quite as breezy as it's going to be a little bit later on, but currently you've got Cam Davis and Keegan Bradley both tied at 3 under par. That's what's leading the tournament right now. Cam Davis is through 15, Keegan Bradley is through 14, and then Canadian Mackenzie Hughes is 2 under through 10 holes. Denny McCarthy is 2 under through 6 holes, and then my sleeper pick from when I was on 2 Off the Tee, our show with Keith Fleming there, Matt Gracerman is off to a fantastic start. He is 2 under par through 6 holes as well. And then you've got a slew of people, or 4 people at 1 under par: Morikawa, Corey Connors, Nick Dunlop, Christian Bezenhout, and then there's only currently 9 players under par early on in the Arnold Palmer Invitational, just further proving the difficulty that particular golf course. Also, shout out to Jackson Koivu, the amateur from Auburn. He's even through 10 holes, currently tied for 10th in this PGA Tour event. A lot of big numbers already. You had Cam Young fired a little 82 today already to kind of put himself in a pretty big hole. And Max Homa fired an 81. That's 9 and 10 over par, respectively. So, when you got these guys putting up these big numbers, just goes to show how difficult the Arnold Palmer Invitational and the Bay Hill Golf Club really is, especially when you get some wind and just thick, heavy, juicy rye rough out there. Makes it certainly tough. Any player that you might be interested in, David, on where they're standing right now? I know.
Let's go. Did you bring up Justin Thomas?
I didn't, but I was going to for you. I saw where he's kind of up there a little bit. He's currently even through 1, so he just got his day going. But
this just started, huh? Today,
it did. But a lot of these guys, several people are finished that started early in the morning wave.
Yeah. But normally on Thursday and Friday, it's kind of the not as popular golfers starting early? Or how does that work out? How do they decide the tee times?
Well, typically, in big field events, they do double tee starts, and then they flip it each day. But because this is a signature event, it's just a single tee start. And to be honest, I have no idea how they do the order of play. I don't know if it's tied to FedEx Cup standings or anything like that. But for the most part, I do believe it's fairly random. But yeah, JT's off to a good start, even through 1. And if you want to live
bet, be worse, right?
No, he could be +1 through 1, or +2, or +3. And he's currently got live odds of 22 to 1. And then, of course, Scotty Scheffler is, where did he go?
Oh, Chef's back, huh?
Yeah, he's been playing the last few weeks.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he's back from that hand surgery.
Has he got a win yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. What? I mean, that's got to be. Obviously, it's not, Tiger Woods level, but a hand injury in the game of golf is
tough.
Yeah.
Tough to come back from, that's for sure. That's all your feel. That's your only connection to the golf club. He's currently even through 15 holes, tied for 11th. And what's crazy, his live odds are less than what they started the tournament at. He was plus 350 before the tournament started. Now he's plus 240, and he's currently not tied with everybody. He's 3 strokes back of the leader, which is pretty crazy. Denny McCarthy is at 2 under par. He's got some good odds right now at plus 2,800, so 28 to 1. Mackenzie Hughes, if you're looking for some value, the Canadian is 2 under par through 10 holes, and his live odds are 75 to 1. And then my boy Max Gracerman is off to a good start. Like I said, he's 2 under through 6. He's 40 to 1 to win the tournament. I don't bet a ton before tournaments start, but I like to see where these guys kind of start and see how the odds change for them. And try to hedge a little bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. Try to find a guy that you think might be able to bring it home and is off to a good start, because obviously getting off to a good start in these golf tournaments is massive. You can get Nick Dunlap, who's 1 under par through 5, at 100 to 1. Nick Dunlap's a solid American golfer as well. Played at the University of Alabama.
Oh,
Mr. Dunlap. He won the tournament out there in Palm Springs last year as an amateur, and then of course turned pro shortly after that.
Now, is Jackson Koivu playing in this one?
Yes, he is. He is. I had mentioned him just a minute ago. He was. Let me find him again. He was. He's right there, tied with Scotty Scheffler. He's even through 11.
So is he still playing Auburn as well?
Yeah, he's an amateur.
Okay.
He's exempt into this tournament because of his PGA Tour U status.
So he couldn't win. He wouldn't win the money if he wins the tournament.
No, but
does that just roll down? Does the money just roll down to second place, or?
Yeah. So basically, he would just be taken out. So right now, he would be part of the tied for 11th. So then the money would just be split between all the tied for 11th people. Yeah. It just kind of goes down from there. So
if he were to win, then second place would win first place money.
If he were to win, whoever's in second, would win first
that would be the best second place finish of your life. Well, you know what? It doesn't look that great on the leaderboard, but I tell you what, my wallet and bank is feeling just fine.
Yep, no doubt. Especially these signature events, the prize money is way, way up there. But yeah, you can check out the Arnold Palmer Invitational. It'll be on the Golf Channel starting at 1 p.m. here in the Central Time Zone. It's a fun tournament to watch. I always enjoy watching that. And of course, as I mentioned multiple times yesterday, I've had the privilege of playing Bay Hill a few times. It always makes it fun to watch a golf tournament you've played, to see kind of how the pros do and that kind of stuff. But always a great finish at Bay Hill as well. That 18th hole with the water all kind of about 150 yards away from the green, kind of curving right into the green. A lot of players will hit it into the rock short of the green, and it'll bounce straight up, and different things will happen. So that tournament's never over until that final putt goes in. Obviously, that's the case with every tournament, but the Bay Hill Invitational's got a interesting closing stretch with a very short, reachable par 4 16th, a long, challenging downhill par 3 number 17th, and then just a great finishing hole, a little uphill tee shot on 18, where Robert Gomez holed out famously in a PGA Tour event back in the early 90s. There's a little plaque there in the fairway to show where he holed out from. So, again, Arnold Palmer Invitational is rocking and rolling. Pivoting back to college basketball really quick. We were talking about quad 1 wins and all that yesterday. Currently, Auburn is 15-3 in quad 1 games, with the next closest being Duke at 6-3. And then, well, actually, I guess by percentage-wise, the next closest would be Houston at 9-3, and then Tennessee at 9-6, Duke at 6-3, Florida at 7-4, Bama at 9-7, Michigan State at 10-4, Texas Tech 10-5, Iowa State 6-6, and St. John's at 3-4. Dave, which team would you rather not play if you had to, Auburn or Florida?
Oh, out of those two teams,
that's a tough one.
Neutral site. I neutral site or on the road. The way Florida's been playing, they're giant killers this year, and they didn't really have the expectations coming into the season. But Auburn, I feel like Auburn can beat you in so many types of ways. So right now, where we stand, even though Florida got the better of Auburn one of their few losses this year, I would still say Auburn would be the team that I would less likely. I mean, shoot, Florida and Auburn both beat Alabama. Alabama gets another date with Auburn this weekend. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think it would be Auburn would be the least likely team that I would like to see, especially when I end up picking whoever, my future champion is going to be. I wouldn't want to take on Auburn.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a good point. They've got a lot of different ways, and Florida's obviously beaten Auburn at Auburn. They've beaten Alabama at Alabama, and then of course have had a fantastic season as well. I'm not sure what the futures odds are. I'm going to see if I can look that up real quick while I'm talking on the NCAA tournament champion. But I would imagine Florida's got probably some good tournament odds as well, some good value.
Yeah,
as they could, I really think, make a pretty good run into it. Let me see if I can get it on hard.
I'm really excited for next Sunday when Selection Sunday when Selection Sunday is upon us, and we find out, how many SEC teams are going to be in the bracket overall.
Yep.
How do those, quadrants work out, right? Like, how many SEC teams are you going to have in one certain bracket? The number one seeds, I think that we're pretty close to knowing who those are going to be outside of the conference tournaments. But, a lot of upsets last night, too, just in the SEC in general. Oklahoma taking down Missouri. That was kind of, not expected. And for them to score 96 in regulation was impressive. But also, UConn. Is it time to kind of start watching out for them here? They beat Marquette last night, 72-66.
They've definitely had. They seem to have had Marquette's number in recent matchups that they've played with them. But another team going for a three-peat, and I don't know if this is going to be the year that they can do it. But March Madness, it's called that for a reason. You really never know what's going to happen.
I'll say it's more likely for the Chiefs to go back to the Super Bowl and win. And get their three-peat than it is for Dan Hurley and UConn this year. But you do never know, and that's why they call it March Madness.
Absolutely, and I think that's certainly fair. Currently, the national championship odds, they've got the Auburn Tigers at plus 350, the Duke Blue Devils also at plus 350, the Houston Cougars at plus 800, the Florida Gators at plus 850. That's not bad, a little 8.5 to 1 on that one. And then Alabama Crimson Tide, 12 to 1, Tennessee, 14 to 1, Iowa State 20 to 1, Michigan State 25 to 1, St. John's 25 to 1, Texas Tech 33 to 1, Arizona 40 to 1, Wisconsin 40 to 1, Kentucky 40 to 1, Missouri 50 to 1. That's not bad there. Maryland, who had a big win last night, I believe, at 50 to 1. The Aggies at 60 to 1, Purdue at 60 to 1, Gonzaga 61, Clemson 66 to 1. UConn, I was trying to get to UConn, is 66 and 1 as well. But hey, those Alabama Crimson Tide 12 to 1. That's not too bad. Not too bad of odds to. But you just gotta. You have to play flawless basketball in every game in the tournament because there's just no room for error.
Not even just error though. What's the referee? How are they going to be calling the game whenever you're in? And it's different because you play basically 2 days a weekend, right? So you get used to playing a certain brand of basketball. Then the next time you've got a different referee, so you have to kind of change it up a little bit. Then, how's the ball bouncing for you that night? And then for Alabama specifically, but any team who shoots the rock from beyond the perimeter, are the shots falling tonight? Yes, Alabama can score inside the paint, and they get a lot of points inside the paint, but that's specifically to try to open up the perimeter. Yeah. So we'll have to see, man. It's hard to live and die by the three, but it's a fun game to watch as a fan.
Yeah, no doubt. And March Madness, too, you can run into a team that just gets on a very, very hot streak, and we see it every year. We just don't know which team it's going to be, and you don't want to run into those teams that are just playing, with house money, so to speak. Because that's a dangerous thing to do. And college basketball playoffs, or the postseason, always seems to be one of those where it's so much more any team could beat any team on any given night. There's always a 15 seed that upsets a 2 seed. Not very often the 16 seed and the 1, but it does happen
twice.
Yeah, it does happen. It's happened fairly recently, right? The last.
Well, we had the first one ever was UMBC, I believe, over Virginia, and then. Was it Kentucky Kentucky? No, I think that was a 15-2. Oakland and Kentucky maybe last year. But man, what was the other 16
Was it
versus
Kansas?
1? I think it was Purdue was the team.
Yes, it was Purdue. It was Purdue. And like VCU or something like that. One.
We'll see which Google gets it first. So you had FDU. Yeah,
Fairleigh
FDU.
Dickinson. That's right. Yes, absolutely.
154-2 all time, 16 versus 1.
Odds are in the number 1 seed favor. That is,
no doubt,
for sure.
And I can't see if it's. And again, we'll have to see the matchups. But Auburn, Duke, Houston, and Florida, I really can't see any one of those 4 seeds going down.
No, and if
I don't think that. I mean, I dang sure didn't see Virginia going down to UMBC. So
you just never really know. But and filling out your brackets, it's about guessing the right upsets at the right time. We've got one more segment coming up today. We're going to talk about some of the local sports action from last night, some of the local high school action coming up tonight, and then, of course, talking about the playoffs getting underway for the girls soccer and then the championship game for boys middle school basketball, which you'll be able to watch on a YouTube link that was shared by Bay District Schools, as well as Coach Roderick Olds. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting is a 5th-generation contracting company based right here out of Bay County. TK Vandy's expertise in commercial and residential roofing, as well as a design-build general contractor, set them aside as a versatile and fresh alternative to achieve your construction needs. Contact TK Vandy Roofing, 850-866-9908, or email support@tkvandy.com. They can't wait to help you.
Every love story deserves a perfect beginning. At Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we believe that your engagement ring should be as unique as your love. Explore our vast selection of certified natural and lab-created diamonds, each hand-picked for brilliance and beauty. Whether you desire the timeless allure of one of our hand-selected engagement rings, or you'd like to custom design the perfect ring, visit us today and let our experts guide you in finding the ring of her dreams, because love deserves the best. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, where love sparkles.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
From the beach to the bay to the backyard, it's the Inside Drive.
I've got sand in my underpants.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. Again, some Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 feel to this rejoiner song. But you are listening to the Inside Drive. We appreciate you tuning in. We are live here from the Golf Plus studio. Real quick, only one softball baseball game last night. That was Arnold at Mosley. Arnold stays undefeated on the season, now at 5-0 after a 10-0 victory over the Mosley Dolphins. On the docket for softball and baseball coming up.
They beat Gadsden 1-0.
Okay. Why does that not...
or at least what I got from WJHG.
Okay.
So
I thought I had Bay softball here. I didn't have Bay softball as a favorite. That's my bad. Sorry, Bay softball.
Well, with Max Preps, though, I think you can only have so many favorites.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I try to wiggle them in and out each season because they do compile everything in one area for us. Coming up tonight, Bay 6-3, traveling over to Walton in varsity baseball. Walton just 2-6. Bay trying to improve to 7-3 on the season. big matchup over there at the I don't know what their baseball field is called at Arnold. Obviously, Gavlak Stadium's a football stadium, but over
the offshore,
the rig. South Walton 7-1, traveling to play Arnold, who is 7-3, coming off a couple tough losses, trying to right the ship. Don't know who's on the mound tonight, but likely either Cooper Moss or Eli Blair, I would imagine.
Well, for South Walton, I learned this from Banji Bomadella yesterday. All 5 of their starting pitchers have D1 scholarships.
That's
one to FSU, one to Georgia Tech, one to Auburn. I think Georgia State or Georgia Southern, and Troy.
Jeez, yeah,
it's not
even pretty formidable.
Yeah. It's not just like you're we say D1 and it's anything Division 1.
Yeah,
but
those are some top.
Those are top tier D1s.
Most of those teams are currently ranked in the top 25 right now, including the Troy Trojans. But and I think I heard Banji say too that South Walton was not a guarantee, because you never use that word, right, but basically would likely be in the Final Four when it came to the states.
Right, and they're actually we learned this yesterday too. Whereas Arnold's in 4A, South Walton's in 3A. So not only do they have, possibly it's baseball, so it doesn't necessarily. I don't think it translates the same way as what it does in football. As far as, when you got more to choose from in football, that kind of helps you out a lot. In baseball, not saying that it doesn't help you out, but a 3A team and a 4A team, they can clash just as well. I mean, shoot, we've seen Bozeman have a heck of a run this year.
Absolutely. But, that first pitch will be at 6:30 over there on the campus of Arnold High School. Again, South Walton, like David said, with their formidable pitching staff of 5 starters there that all have Division I scholarships. And then speaking of the Bozeman Bucks, they are currently 8-1. They'll be traveling up to play Bluntstown, who is 3-7 in varsity baseball. All right, I want to pivot over to the middle school side of things. Obviously, it's a big night, big afternoon, I should say, for boys middle school basketball, as you have the championship game between the number 1 seed Jinx and number 2 seed North Bay Haven. That'll be over there at the gym at Jinx. And also you have a lot of other games going on too. You've got the 5th place game, which is the 5 seed Surfside playing at the number 3 seed Mowat. The 7th place game is University Academy hosting Breakfast Point Academy, and the 3rd place game is Bay Haven hosting Rutherford. That'll all be sorted out obviously this afternoon. What do you think? Jinx gets the 3-peat?
Yeah, I think I'm going to ride with Jinx.
I think that's
probably. Who are they playing again?
North Bay Haven, who's had a good season. New to the middle school basketball, or new to middle school sports again, kind of came back this year in most sports, but that will also be streamed live. I shared that link on our Facebook page for ESPN at Northwest Florida right after the Coach James Hale show and before our show, so you can follow that YouTube link. If you're not able to make it out there to support the boys but still want to watch it, you can check it out there. Just again, go to our page, ESPN Northwest Florida, and find it on our posts, and you can just click it and follow it and watch it. So we'll keep you, obviously we will keep you posted on the result of that game coming up tomorrow on the show as well. We're going to pivot over to the girls soccer playoffs, which get underway tonight. University Academy, the number 1 seed this afternoon, 4 p.m. All these game times are at 4 p.m. University Academy hosting Palm Bay, Mowat hosting North Bay Haven, Bay Haven hosting Jinx, and Surfside hosting Breakfast Point Academy. I did want to give a shout out to all the girls on the UA soccer team, as I've had the pleasure to work alongside Ian Krelling as the assistant coach for the middle school girls soccer team over there at University Academy. But Z, we know her as Z. Her name's Ziona Bell. She's had 15 goals and 13 assists this season. Aubrey Davis has had 10 goals and 3 assists. Cheney Humphreys has had 18 goals and 9 assists. Ella Granger with 6 goals and 5 assists. Lily Flippin with 3 goals. Mara with 1 goal and 1 assist. Ryan Mulvey with 4 goals on the season, her best season yet.
Your ball. Oh, my bad.
Well, those girls are in a lot better shape than I am, so I wouldn't be able to do that, that's for sure. Aria Baxton with 1 goal and 1 assist. Ella Homestead with 1 goal, 1 assist. Lauren Nutt, the goalkeeper, got to come out and play a little bit in the game against Tyndall, and she got herself her first ever goal in middle school soccer. Vivian got a goal. Emmy got a goal. Becca got a goal. Lucy had her first goal ever in middle school soccer in our past game against Rutherford. And then Janelle had 1 assist and Alani had 2 assists, making our total 64 goals and goals for and 1 goal given up on the entire season. So a solid squad over there at University Academy. Very easy to coach them. Yeah, that's for sure. A lot of Bay United and a lot of different club soccer players that play on
so they play together.
A lot of them play together, and they've been playing. And University Academies that we're trying to go back-to-back county champs as well, and they had a really good season the year before that. But the crazy part is going into next year, we're going to be losing 10 eighth graders. So obviously it'll be going.
How many of those girls are going to be going to high school together? Or are they going to disperse and go to
I think a lot
places?
of them will actually be playing together. A lot of them obviously will be playing high school as well. But there's some serious talent on that University Academy team right now. And, of course, shout out to Lauren, who's our keeper, who's only allowed 1 goal this entire season.
That's insanity.
Yeah, it's just a testament to how good these girls really are, and looking forward to hopefully a deep playoff run this season. Obviously, we get everybody's best game as everybody's trying to take down. But the cool thing is now we have our own turf field, and we'll be hosting all of our playoff games starting tonight at 4 p.m. against Palm Bay, and looking forward to continuing on with that. I don't know if you saw this, David. I don't know if you care, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. This year, sometime later on the season, Nintendo 64 will be coming back for a 4K version, but not very cheap, $249.99. Seems like a lot for the nostalgia, especially they got that little handheld thing that everybody's playing.
The Switch.
Or there's something that's got like 1 million games on it. It almost looks like a Game Boy, but then it's got the triggers on the back too. I forget what it's called.
Almost like a PSP.
Yeah, but man, what is it? I get served with it all the time on Instagram. But anyway, so
I mean, yeah, $249 for nostalgia when
seems like a lot.
Well, I don't think that it is for the people who are going, like, for the market, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to go out and just get, I have no interest at all. Like, for me personally, I think it's a very interesting concept, just like reverting back to the past and all that stuff. But is it going to be cartridges, like you see, or is it going to be where it's on the cloud and you can buy the games digitally? Will they give you some memorabilia type cartridges to slide them in there and whatnot? And I wasn't a huge Nintendo guy after the NES. Like, once I got into the world of PlayStation, Xbox, it was PlayStation up until Xbox 360. Then I went with Xbox 360, and I've still been Xbox since then. But man, that PS5, I love the controller aspect of the fact that the right triggers Xbox. So R2 and L2 on the PS2 are they are kind of, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Haptic.
Yeah, and ergonomically positioned correctly.
Well, not just that. I love the Xbox controller myself, but the PS5 controller being a little bit bigger. But it's the motion, like if you're backing someone down in the paint, like, you can't just pull down the left trigger all the way. It's pressure based.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's like an upgraded controller. I'm not sure, again, as I don't have the PS5, but my buddies that do, and he's got one of those he's got a few of those controllers, and it makes it fun.
Yeah, no doubt. I said I don't know enough either because the system is in Liam's room, so I don't get a opportunity to play it too often, which is probably good because I would not be able to play as well as I used to, and I'd probably get frustrated. But yeah, I found what I was talking about. It doesn't have a specific name. It's basically 3,000 games in one handheld game console, 3.5-inch IPS screen, but it's just got all the different classic games from, and not classic.
So it's basically like the thing that you plug into your TV,
except
like an Atari type deal,
but the handheld version of it. And
it looks like a Game Boy Advance on steroids.
It does, and it's got
or not Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance was the one that flipped, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was more like a regular Game Boy.
Yep. But with the triggers on the back, which is what they were kind of missing before. So, but yeah, just thought I'd bring that up as we get close to closing our show out today. And again, good luck to all the teams still competing, and good luck to Jinx and North Bay Haven in the boys middle school county championship. Just a real quick note on PGA Tour Live stuff. Rory McIlroy basically threw some cold water on the potential of these two getting back together, as he basically says it takes two to tango, basically alluding to one party is willing and ready and the other one isn't. So he said it's kind of making it tough, and I feel like that's I don't know if he's meaning the PGA Tour is ready and the LIV's not, or vice versa. So it doesn't look like we're getting anywhere close to any kind of negotiations.
If you were to guess, which side is it that's got cold feet?
I'm going to guess the LIV Tour, because I feel like they think they have some kind of, upper hand or something like that, where they still have
trick up their sleeve.
I don't know, where they still have obviously the main backing of the PIF, but also have still some big time. Brooks is still there, Bryson's still there. They haven't left yet, so something like that happens. Obviously, if one of those guys moves back over, the upper hand may switch a little bit there as well. I know the TGL is will be finishing up next week with the semifinals, I believe, on Monday, and the championship on Tuesday. So anybody who's still paying attention to that, it'll culminate next week, and then guys won't have to leave TGL and go right to whatever tournament that they're particularly playing in. Looks like some quick updates on some NFL football stuff. The Niners informed defensive tackle Javon Hargrave that he will be released on the first day of the new year next week. Hargrave will be a free agent. And unfortunately, when we signed Hargrave last year from the Eagles, he ended up tearing his bicep, I believe it was. So never really was able to make much of an impact on the defense. The Commanders have re-signed kicker Zane Gonzalez. I know that everybody was really worried about that. The Commanders fans certainly were, but he has been re-signed, so no need to worry there. And it does look like the Dallas Cowboys are starting to maybe do some real big boy NFL stuff, clearing up a lot of salary.
They're just getting the fan base ready to not do nothing. They're going to sit on their laurels again this offseason.
Yep, restructured both CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott's contract. I think it freed up around $56 million in salary cap space, but like David just said, they're just getting everybody's hopes up, and won't make a lot of moves and let everybody down. So, but we'll keep you posted. Obviously, the new league starts on Monday. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have Aaron Bearden back on the show. It's been several weeks since he joined us from Instant Replay, and I believe Joe Bond from Fantasy Six Pack, the founder of Fantasy Six Pack, is going to be joining us again tomorrow, but we're going to be pivoting to the fantasy baseball side of things as we're getting ever so closer to the start of the 2025 MLB season. And I know we do a fantasy baseball league, so I'll be asking a lot of questions to hopefully help me out and be a little more successful.
Yeah.
Obviously, I forget who it was, but just completely ran away with it last year, just absolutely dominated everybody. And I learned a lot how important pitchers are, and making sure you have, whether they do good or not, having a pitcher starting versus not can be beneficial unless they get absolutely cleaned in the game that they're starting at.
Yeah, buddy, and then you get those negative 30 points or whatever.
That's a
backbreaker.
It is. Stuff can flip very quickly in fantasy baseball. And there's another way to do it, right? Where
categories. That's how I've always played it, but we do it like the fantasy football type way, where each player gets points. I was going to change it, but I was like, no, we already got used to it. I don't want to change things up on it. The only thing that we've got to do is reach out to the, honestly, I guess what we could do is Dave Neat, myself, you, and then whoever else wants to join. We've got 10 spots open, I believe. So.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we'll just do it like that. And I guess we got 20 days to get it going.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to join our, it's nothing crazy, it's not any big money or anything like that. It's just kind of for fun, bragging rights. And, if you want to join us on that, just reach out to David or I, and we'll send you the information on how to join that league. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today here on the Inside Drive Afternoon Underdog, coming up at 4 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow for Fun Friday. It's going to be weird not having a guitar being played on Friday, but maybe we'll figure out something when it comes to that. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Northwest Florida is taking it to the hole. Your home for the most